Stranger Things Season 4 has finally come to a close, but where does that leave us for Season 5? That is the question, isn't it? Because make no mistake, there were a lot of sacrifices and defeats at the end of Volume 2 of Season 4, and fans are still very much recovering from all that was said and done there. Plus, we know that Season 5 of the show is going to be the end, so nothing that is going to happen in the final season is going to be a loose end. Everything will be tied up. So, with that in mind, what are the questions and threads that need to be tied up? 9. Hawkins Fate. This is the most obvious one. Season 4 ends with the revelation that Vecna/Henry, Jamie Campbell Bower, succeeded in his plan to bring the Upside Down to Hawkins. And there's not a single Stranger Things fan that isn't wondering what is going to happen to the town and its people. Are the visions Vecna showed Nancy, Natalia Dyer, truly the future? How long will it take for the Clouds, 11, and the Gang C to take over the entire town? What kind of horrors can we expect from Vecna's reign? So far, all we know for sure is that it won't look pretty, and it will entail a considerable body count. Think about how far the Hawkins crew and their allies have come to try and stop this from happening, and how much of the population just thought that bad things happened in Hawkins. Well, this is going to be much harder to explain, and much harder to fight. 8. The Shadow. One of the most intriguing new revelations regarding the Upside Down appears early on in Volume 2 when Joyce, Winona Ryder, Hopper, David Harbour, and Murray, Brett Gelman, stumble upon a mysterious substance swirling around in the Russian prison. These particles look eerily reminiscent of the Shadow Monster, aka the Mind Flayer that possesses Will, Noah Schnapp, back in Season 2. Murray realizes the particles are them, meaning the spore-like particles are inside the Demogorgons and other frightening creatures from the hellish Upside Down. Vecna also gives us a bit of clarification about this when battling 11 in the mind of Max, Sadie Sink. When recounting his sinister origins in the Upside Down, Vecna tells 11 he, quote, saw a means to realize my potential to transcend my human form, end quote, while gazing up at a cloud of particles similar to the type seen in the Russian prison. In a flashback, Henry tames the shadow particles with his telekinetic powers to outline the Mind Flayer and evolves into the predatory nightmare we now know as Vecna. 11 is horrified to realize that the Mind Flayer and Vecna are essentially one and the same. With the spores now infesting Hawkins, we shudder to think how Vecna's power of possession will grow in Season 5 and who his next infected victims will be. 7. Honoring Eddie. Despite all the terrifying things that have happened to Hawkins over the past 4 seasons, the town's population remains none the wiser. They believe Starcourt Mall burned down in a terrible fire, and they still think the murders of Chrissy, Grace Van Dien, Fred, Logan Riley Brenner, and Patrick, Miles Truitt, were the work of a satanic cult. This is understandable since the existence of the Upside Down is top secret government information, and satanic panic was indeed all the rage back in 1986. Still, it's heartbreaking to see Wayne Munson, Joel Stouffer, not only grieving the loss of his nephew, but also enduring the abuse of people who never truly knew Eddie, Joseph Quinn, and think of him only as a devil-worshipping serial killer. But perhaps the Munson family name will be cleared now that the existence of Vecna and the Upside Down has become impossible to hide. 6. Dr. Brenner and 11. 11 has a twisted past with the manipulative mad scientist Martin Brenner, aka Papa Matthew Modine. Brenner first orders 11 to make telekinetic contact with the entity he refers to as the Monster way back in Season 1. This connection unleashes a Demogorgon and cracks open the Mother Gate, the first known passage between Hawkins and the Upside Down. With what we now know about Vecna, this places even more blame on Brenner for the otherworldly consequences that devastate Hawkins. In Stranger Things 4, Brenner plays a central role in reactivating 11's telekinetic abilities, but he also shackles her with a restrictive, power-inhibiting collar. Then, before he dies, he unlocks the imprisoning device. This final gesture probably isn't as redemptive as Brenner wishes it was. After he so recently and selfishly tried to contain 11, his motivations are mostly rooted in self-interest, as far as we know. Assumedly, he knows 11 has to be the one to defeat Vecna and save the world, so he releases her. Did he truly love 11 like a daughter? Or is Vecna right about Brenner's primary goal of harnessing their greatness? Maybe Brenner does care for 11, but certainly not in the selfless way Hopper does. Though we may have seen the last of Brenner, his mysterious nature could still haunt the final season. 5. State of Vecna. In Season 4's final battle, Vecna is attacked on more than one front. While 11 holds him back inside Max's Sadie Sink mind, Robin, Maya Hawke, Steve, Joe Keery, and Nancy hit him with Molotov cocktails and shotgun blasts in the real world. But even after enduring all this damage, Vecna still manages to escape, and Will, Noah Schnapp, makes it clear to all of those who were wondering that he didn't die off-screen. So, with Vecna on the loose and the Upside Down taking over Hawkins, all we can hope for is that the kids have at least managed to damage him badly enough to make him easier to defeat. Though given all it took just to damage him, that's not a guarantee, especially with the worlds now merging as he wanted. 4. 8? One of the most polarizing episodes of Season 2 introduces viewers to 11's sister, Kali Prasad, aka 8, Linnea Berthelsen, and her psionic illusion abilities. We haven't seen her since 11's solo adventure, and considering the massacre at Hawkins' lab, it's possible she's the only other gifted child still alive. There's even an extremely clever Dungeons & Dragons-based fan theory suggesting 8 is the key to defeating Vecna. 8's introduction also has a creepy parallel with Vecna. When 11 first sees her use her powers, 8 conjures imaginary spiders. Vecna has arachnids in his origin story as he uses a black spider as the visual basis for the Mind Flayer. Series creators, the Duffer Brothers, even teased 8's return at the end of Season 2, saying the chances of her coming back are, quote, very high. Will 8 help 11 master her powers and use her illusions to defeat Vecna once and for all? 3. Steven and Nancy. Steve sure has grown on Nancy over the course of Season 4, and there's good reason for it. As Nancy herself tells Jonathan, Charlie Heaton, Steve has matured a lot since the events of Season 1. He's not the same entitled popular boy that he used to be, and he has also made his feelings for Nancy quite clear, even going as far as saying that he wants to have a family with her. With Jonathan repeatedly lying to his girlfriend about his plans for the future and remaining emotionally distant, is it possible that Nancy is about to have a change of heart? 2. 11's powers. Mike's moving speech to 11 may introduce a jaw-dropping concept for Season 5. Can 11 fly? Plenty of notable telepaths in television and film history have mastered this ability, from Jean Grey and other mutants from X-Men stories, a favorite reference point for the Duffers, who loaded Stranger Things up with nods to the early 80s Marvel milestone, the Dark Phoenix Saga, to Andrew, Dane DeHaan in Chronicle, and the various incarnations of Wanda Maximoff. After seeing 11's powers continually grow from season to season, and considering she demonstrates some ability to literally raise the dead, is flight the next level for her? 1. Who lives, who dies? Given the journey and loss that all the Hawkins crew and their allies have gone through, to end on anything other than a happy ending, or at least a satisfying one, would be the peak of sadism. But as every season has shown, there's a cost to fighting the Upside Down and its monsters. The town of Hawkins is consumed by it now, and with a time jump likely indicating a war in the trenches, there's no way everyone will live. The scripts haven't been fully written yet, and the Duffer Brothers have been known to change their minds. As such, anyone and everything is on the table for who stays and who dies in the attempt. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at Stranger Things Season 5 and the lingering questions from Season 4 that need to be resolved once and for all? Are some of your personal questions on this list right here? Do you feel as though there are other questions that we need answered before the end? How do you think Stranger Things will come to a close? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the channel.